Frank, a disappointing defeat today in the end. Started the game really well. Second half, obviously, Alton have gone and scored 2 goals. What were your thoughts on the game?
Thoughts on the game were fantastic start. The game plan, what we worked on all week, was working perfectly. We were very good in possession, keeping the ball really well, playing forward early, causing them a lot of problems for the first 25 minutes. Obviously got an early goal, went 1-0 up. Dominating for 25. Come off it for 10, 15, and then just before half time. So as we come off it, and we didn't sort of, when you're on top, you've got to really go for it, and you've got to keep your foot down, and you've got to keep creating, you've got to punish even more, and you've got to score a second. Similar to Clarke, really.
Yeah.
Like in the first half where we scored a couple, it should be done. Similar to that. You know, they've got one just before half time. We've had to make 2 changes. Josh Williams, his season's probably done. He's obviously been on the end of a tackle. His ankle's massive. And obviously with only having 10 games left, I can't see him. I can't see him recovering from that before the end of the season, which is a massive blow for us. So we had to come off. And then Harry Thomas also picked up an ankle injury in the first half as well. And he's decided at half time as well, which I think was the right decision, because he played through it for a little bit, but then at half time when you sat down, you're not moving it just got a bit worse, and I think it was the right decision to bring him off as well. But when you bring them 2 off, they're 2 big players, and it just sort of unbalances things, and you have to play people out of position and things like that. So we just didn't quite adapt to them 2 going off and other people playing in different positions than we were used to.
Looked like a really poor tackle on Josh. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he's not happy with it. I actually missed it, to be fair. I didn't see it, but you know, the lads aren't happy with it. He's not happy with it, and like you say, his ankle's massive. Yeah, it's not good, mate. And he's a huge player for us. He's been outstanding this season, and especially the last couple of months, he's had a consistency. So he's a big blow, but you know, he'll be back and ready to go as quick as he can.
What's the situation with? Has he gone off to get that checked at the hospital now?
So, yeah. He thinks it's a sprain. It's just you can't be sure. So he's gone off to get it checked, and just to let us know and keep us updated.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, Alton have started the half quite brightly. Mac has got us back in at a 3-2. There's an incident where Matty Burrows has gone over in the area. You're obviously on the pitch. Did you feel it should have been given?
It's one of them. It can go either way. I don't want to start saying it's definitely a pen, and because if it was against us, I'd probably feel hard done by. Could it have been given as a pen? Yeah, he's got the wrong side of them. He's beat the man. The man's gone to ground in the box, and when you do that, you always give the officials a decision to make. You know, Matty's went to ground. He said he's felt contact and enough contact to go down, and it hasn't been given. And it's just one of them things. You know, you can only control what you can control.
Absolutely. Would you say that today is, you talk about learning all the time with your group, they're a young group, would you say today, if anything, is a learning curve for them? Another one of them sort of learning experiences?
The whole season's been that.
Yeah.
I'd say cows last week. That's all right. Yeah, you can go past. It's all right.
We're just waiting for the officials to go past there. Hence the stoppage.
It's all right. Sorry.
Talking about a learning curve for the players,
curve,
but you know,
the whole season's been a learning curve. I feel like we made the same mistakes today as what we did last Saturday against Clarke. When we talk about being on top and really making the most of when you're on top in the early stages. We didn't do that today, and we didn't do that against Clarke last week. So it's just getting used to sort of, when you are on top, can you really make the most of it and you know, put the game to bed really, and not let other teams sort of even get a sniff. But you just have to manage games better. But managing games comes with going through experiences like this, and I'm sure we'll coming towards the end of the season, we'll start adding that, and going into next season we'll certainly add that to our game.
Absolutely. We've mentioned a lot of players, a lot of younger players throughout this season, but just a word for Greg Borthwick. Obviously he's bundled the ball over the line today, and he's really had to work hard to be in your plans, hasn't he? So I think obviously credit to him for doing that.
Well, he scored a second goal as well, which was given offside.
Yeah.
And he was unlucky at the end with a header.
Yeah.
He's created a chance on his own from a goal kick from Mike, where he He's had a man either side of him. He's brought it down, turned, and had a shot from the edge of the box. Greg at the start of the season, so Greg was with the reserves when I first come in, and he's just a presence, and purely, you know, for his size and for his build and his physicality, he can be a problem at this level, and probably above as well when he starts adding, you know, quality on the football as well, which he's now started to do. So we said straight away, me and Sam, that we wanted Greg to be a part of our plans, and yet we've worked with Greg since the end of last season, going through the summer. He's grafted really hard. He goes and does bits on his own. He's sort of when I spoke to Greg at the start of the season about why he weren't playing, it was just because we had other lads who were just maybe used to playing to their strengths a bit more than what he was. I think he sort of he was trying to find his game and trying to find what his strengths and weaknesses were. And when we identified them, he's now really playing to his strengths. And you're seeing a different player. You know, again, I think if you look at Greg last season, you look at Greg the first 10 games this season, 15 games this season, and you look at him now, you know, it's like, it's unrecognisable. So credit to him for all his hard work, credit to him for taking the information on and being open to receive that information, because, you know, I think he's a year older than me, same age as Sam, so, you know, at that age you can turn around sometimes and say, sort of, but I think he's being very open to receiving the information and wanting to improve, and I think we've got a real player on our hands now, and I'm just excited if he keeps developing the way he is, then, you know, what an asset we'll go into next season with. So yeah, credit to him, and I think there's only more to come from Greg. I think he scored a good few goals. He scored a few goals this season, but I think next season he's going to set his targets quite high. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got to do next season. Absolutely,
he's a big part of the squad, definitely. Franklyn, there was a bit of, I noticed anyway, and a few fellow committee members noticed a few, should we say, industrious language about where you and your dad come from. It seems to be a regular occurrence, and the FA are trying to clamp out this sort of thing, rightfully so. Do you have any thoughts on it at all?
Nah, mate, not really. I haven't really got anything to say about it, apart from, like you say, I'm used to it. It happens every week. Obviously, I'm not from this part of the country. I'm obviously from Liverpool. But in terms of commenting on the things that get said, I've got absolutely nothing to say about it, apart from the fact that I'm very, very proud to be from Liverpool. I'm very proud to be a Scouser. I'm very proud of the models I brought up with and where I'm from, and I'll always be proud of where I'm from. So, in a way, it's kind of a compliment. So, yeah, no issues.
Do you think that, as a general rule in football, that sort of thing should be stamped out?
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think it's not nice. Yeah, in general, and obviously you have children watching and things like that, who look up, even though this is not, you know, the highest level in the world. You know, you're still a role model to the younger generation coming through. So you just want to make sure that you apply yourself properly. But yeah, there's obviously no room for that in the game of football. Yeah, ideally it wouldn't happen, but you know, it does, unfortunately.
10 games to go, full speed ahead.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, we'll give it a good go the last 10, and then keep learning, and then we'll go into the summer really strong, ready for next season, the big season.
Absolutely brilliant, Frank. Thank you. Cheers.